week's Jaguars vs. Rams game in London, the Rams will likely be without their superstar wide receiver Puka Nacua, who suffered an ankle injury against the Ravens in yesterday's game. Nacua leads the league in receptions with 54 and is second in yards with 616. It's 81 degrees at 2 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Cooler Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Fuel.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, Lauren Brooks, Taylor Dahl, and Tom McManus. This is
Helmets and Heels.
Helmets and Heels on 1010XL.
Well, 4-1 was fun. 4-2, boo.
Boo.
That's all I have to say, boo. Mainly boo because the overall performance yesterday was so incredibly lacking by your Jacksonville Jaguars. To lose in the NFL is going to happen, right, from time to time.
Yeah.
You're going to lose, especially to a team that is so good on the road. That's what's a crazy stat about the Seahawks.
Yeah.
But I think for me, Tom and Taylor, which, by the way, welcome back, Taylor.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
For me, there wasn't one area to blame. You literally blamed, you had to blame the offense for everything that they did wrong, the defense for everything that they did wrong. And yes, you could
Special
say,
teams.
and obviously special teams, But I feel like for me, people who want to put a lot of blame on Trevor Lawrence, did he make mistakes? Sure. But this loss is not on Trevor Lawrence.
No. But was the boo planned? Because that rhymed and it's almost Halloween.
It wasn't
was
planned,
it subliminal in your head? I like it. Yeah, that was good. That was
Spooky
creative.
season.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Trevor, although Trevor could have definitely played better. I think Trevor played like his normal self. Played really good at times and then didn't play really good at
missing
times.
throws at other times.
The O-line was just terrible. Terrible. I mean, they couldn't do anything. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't protect Trevor. ESPN had him as being hit 17 times. Now, I tracked the hits.
Yeah.
It's never past like 8 or 9. I mean, it's like 17. I was like, holy cow. They really got after him. The pressures were in the 30s. Obviously, the sacks at 7. It affected him. You know, I tell you what, early after watching it today, it felt like not that they confused him, but they were doing something on the back end that he wasn't ready for. Because it felt like either nobody was ever open or he was just not going to pull the trigger. Throughout the game, it felt like that, but especially early on.
Yeah, I think to your point, Lauren, there was a lot of things that we're going to talk about this week that went wrong, and it wasn't one thing. And that's the conversation. Sometimes you leave a game and you're like, hey, this one thing, if it was fixed, you would have won, or whatever the case may be. This week it's different. It felt like a lot of things. The offensive line, obviously, I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about that. The defense, to your point, a lot of plays where you felt like normally the last few weeks the defense was making those plays. And I know you get a cornerback trade. You have a new corner on this team, and there was a couple plays Newsome got burned on, and one of those being a touchdown. So does that start to adjust the more comfortable he is on this defense? Was that a factor? Some of these things we will see moving forward. But I do think it's a game where you're pointing to a lot of errors across the board, and there's problems that I think still feel like they need to be fixed when we're talking about these illegal shifts. Why is this still happening this 5 weeks in and this many of them? It's really frustrating to watch. Trevor, when it comes to why everything 5 feet over people's heads, like even the catches that they were making, they were had to go up in the air for them. And so those things start to get frustrated when you don't feel like some of those are getting fixed. You're still bad on third down. You didn't even get into the red zone, so you can't even talk about that number. And then Cam Little. Do we have a Cam Little problem right now, or is this the guy never missed anything, and then now it's 2 missed field goals and an extra point this year? So,
and he had never missed an extra point in his life. So obviously,
high school, college,
correct. Something is clearly wrong. Yeah, I mean, to me, the offensive line had such a bad performance that I felt like Trevor was never comfortable. It seemed like whether it was accurate or not every time, but it seemed like the pocket was collapsing, and so I felt like the clock in his head was rushed, and therefore, yes, he is going to miss throws. And again, he needs to be able to make those throws regardless of what's happening around him. But to me, that was like Trevor Lawrence from last year and the year before, when he just didn't feel comfortable whatsoever.
Yeah, he had some late pressure. I mean, there were times I felt like he could have thrown it, but I don't feel like he felt like they were open enough for him to throw it. You know what I mean?
Holding the ball, we criticize him when he holds the ball too long, but sometimes holding the ball means you're not forcing a throw, and therefore there's an interception. He didn't throw any picks.
But it's not always forcing. Maybe you're throwing them into the throw. There was one play where he he had Travis coming underneath, and he for whatever reason didn't see him, and all he had to do was lead him just a little bit, and Travis had like green like crazy. But this wasn't on Trevor. Look, credit Mike McDonald, the head coach of Seattle, for bringing his team in, because how do you win on the road? By being physical.
Yeah.
That's the best chance you have. Whether you line up perfectly, skill to skill, man to man, if you can out physical your opponent on the road, you have a chance to win the football game. And they came in and they were physical right away. I mean, we wanted the ball right away. We're thinking, all right, here, we're going to cook. We're going to. They're like, no, you're not cooking anything. We're going to shut this down and see how long you can last. You know, it was a good battle. It wasn't like dominating by them, that kind of thing, but they definitely won the line of scrimmage. You go back and watch, and it's funny because you look at our defensive stats, like, man, held them to like 2 yards a carry, 1 out of 12 on third down. You're like, how are they not like dominating? But they weren't. They did not affect Sam Darnold enough, especially at critical moments.
Well, and 8 catches for 162 yards for Jackson Smith and Jigba. Yeah. Like, obviously, the game plan going in for the Jaguars was incorrect. That whatever Liam Coen had dialed up, it didn't work, right? Like, you needed Trevor to get the ball out super quickly because of all that pressure. And then defensively, you let this guy who you know is one of the best receivers in all of the league catch way too many, well, not too many passes, obviously too many passes, but for way too many yards. And I didn't feel like Smith and Jigba was a guy that they couldn't at least figure out a plan. Like this, to me, he's not a Jamar Chase.
Yeah. JSN, I think he's become a very good wide receiver in the NFL. It just felt like the only person that could even slightly cover him was Buster Brown. Honestly, he was the only one making any plays.
Travis Hunter,
Jackson Smith for the entirety of the game. There were just moments where I was like, all right, Buster's the only one. Like, plays that stuck out in my head. I haven't gone back and rewatched yet. But I saw a stat when Travis Holmes, John Shipley posted talking about pressures allowed by the Jags in the first 4 games was 33. Pressures allowed by the Jags in the last 2 games, 37. So clearly that's a big jump from that. You also are facing probably the better 2 defensive lines you've also faced these last 2 weeks when it comes to a Chris Jones and what Seattle's able to cook up with that. But the interesting thing to me was opposing defense time to pressure. Week 1, the Jags, it was 2.58 seconds, which was 11th. Since then, it was 25th, 21st, 25th, 22nd. This week, it was 16th, 2.73 seconds time to pressure. So you're still middle of the pack. I think Trevor was not getting the ball out quick enough, and some of that was the wide receivers not getting open. Some of that may have been mental. He just felt the pressures more than, and maybe felt they were coming because some of them were super quick. But it wasn't like you were taught. I mean, there was 15 quarterbacks that were getting pressured quicker than Trevor was on Sunday.
Yeah, and look, he he missed a couple things. I just wonder if it's that whole like, am I waiting too long for them to get open and not throwing it sooner? Back to Njigba, if I may, because his success came on an error. Wingard was way out of position. And by the way, it was the same play that we all ripped Campbell for.
Right.
Now, it was a different play because they had to throw it up, and it was like a fight for the ball. That this was a deep bomb that was a perfectly thrown ball. But he's on outside coverage. When that guy is going deep and bending in, it's so hard to squeeze that gap when you start outside. And when you don't have a defender on the inside to squeeze them back, you're never going to win.
Yeah, so
it's crazy.
The Jags were in quarters, and Liam Coen said post-game they called a quarter beater. Obviously, Clint Kubiak called a quarter beater.
Yep.
So, Tom, for people that don't understand, that's not solely on Greg Newsome.
No, it's not. It's not. The safety should be there helping him out. Now, granted, the safety's not just solely responsible for that deepest one like you would be in cover 2, but he's still, like, if he sees there's no other vertical, and he's coming right at him. And it wasn't like, look, Wingard just kind of, just like he did on the tight end catch, he just bit on the fake. He just bit on the fake, and next thing you know, the guy's by him. So that one, and then the 2 completions. One, he schooled Buster, and then he beat Travis pretty good, but they gave him like 10-yard cushions. I mean, they were way off the mark on him. So, look, the guy's a really talented wide receiver, and when the quarterback has time, go back to those plays. He has time. He's got time to make those throws.
Sam Darnold,
he'll make those throws, right?
For sure.
Like most quarterbacks will. So.
Yeah, in the league. I think, to me, one of the most disappointing things is the home team scores 12 points in front of a crowd that I think helped you win Monday Night Football, right, against the Chiefs. And then, obviously, the Seahawks came in, I think, with a much better game plan. And what's fascinating to me, Taylor, is they figured out that they could really push this offensive line, the Jaguars' offensive line, back. I'm not sure how they came up with that because the Jaguars' offensive line to this point has been pretty good.
Yeah.
But whatever they saw in film, they were able to expose.
Yeah. I think they saw some of the things Kansas City did because there was a lot of pressures in that game too, and they started figuring out ways to create something, and I think a lot of that's taking advantage of Walker Little, honestly. And my tangent last week, I went through some of, that he's allowed 34% of the pressures on this team, and that's a top 5 in the league of any tackle. So that's an issue over there, and I think teams have started figuring that out. Hainsey, I think, is a conversation because if you don't, how much changes if you have him, because I do think that your center is so important and how that anchor being that guy to kind of gel. So how much of the of injuries are this, and if guys are banged up, and then whatever. But I do think that teams are probably looking at Kansas City and Seattle now and saying, what are they doing? Because Trevor can't perform under those circumstances. And so if you get pressure on him, that's the recipe to beating this team.
Yeah. Well, think about this. We watched all camp, right? Mm-hmm. How was Walker Little getting beat in camp? Going around him or inside? It was inside. His weakest part of his game is that inside shoulder. What were they running on his side? Those games where the tackle comes up, hits him on the inside, the end loops around, the guard's got to take the looper, and then the guy's already on his inside. He just goes up the field and makes the play. Sorry, I had to I got away from the microphone there for just a second. Well, what about Anton on the other side? Mm-hmm. You don't beat Anton inside. He's too strong. But when do you beat him? You can get around him. So what were they doing? They were playing games on Walker's side, and they were running around Anton on his side, and they were having trouble. I mean, Walker had a really bad game. Anton had a bad game, not as bad as Walker. I think Ezra
the penalties
Cleveland
though add to the
had a really bad game.
And
I don't know what happened to Ezra, man.
Chuma had a lot of penalties too. Was a problem.
Oh, that was back to back. And even Liam, they panned him on the down the field. He's like, why are you downfield? Like, the play's way over here. Why are you down the field over there? Like, there's no
the penalties are a disaster.
It's a mess.
They've been that, but the Jaguars have been winning outside of one game until yesterday, and so we were able to gloss over, even though we've talked about him for sure. Yeah. But yesterday, obviously, Travis Hunter lining up offsides and the touchdowns negated.
Way over offsides.
Right. Well, and I feel like that's the type of stuff that if you're Liam Coen, like that infuriates you.
Yeah.
Go watch.
Like not even checking either. He doesn't look to see. Usually they look over at the official and are like, "Am I good?"
And then the next
one, Travis Hunter is like, "Am I all right?"
Yeah. Actually, on the one on the touchdown, he looked at somebody. He didn't look down the line. He looked at it looked like he was looking at the sideline because he was off the ball, but he had to be on the line of scrimmage because the other two guys were off. But how does he not see like he's like even with the ball? Like,
that's
look,
what
I've
I'm
never done it. Maybe it's tunnel vision.
Is there other?
Just thinking about other
player
stuff
on the line that can look down also and and I know I'm not going to put that all on Trevor. Trevor's already calling out protection, getting the play call in. He can't make sure every single person, especially those far
the
wide
guy
out.
in the end sees the line. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
but he does have a lot going on in his brain, and he just forgot. But I mean, look, that was a fluke play anyway. I'm glad he threw it up, and it was great. I wish it worked, and we had a touchdown there. But man, the ball's like right there. How do you not know you're even with the ball? You can never be even with the ball.
Yeah. All right. We'll continue the conversation as the Jaguars did fall 20-12 to the Seahawks at Everbank Stadium. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on a Big Chief Tire Monday. You can find them online at WeKeepJacksRollin.com. Thousands of 5-star reviews because they do such a great job, whether you need tires, brake services, wheel alignments, or oil changes. It's 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Get everything you need to know for your weekend on Pre-Game Friday.
We've saved the best for last.
Who's in, who's out, who's on upset watch. And I like it. Pre-Game Friday, built by Dreamfinders Homes on 1010XL.
Helmets and Heels.
Protected by
Green Law Group. For the insured. Fighting for you.
It's time for the Plumbing 411 from Superior Plumbing and Pipeline. It's not just annoying when your toilet keeps running long after you flush. It's also costly because it could waste hundreds of gallons of water a day. A running toilet's often caused by worn-out flappers, corroded valves, or a faulty float. Superior Plumbing and Pipelining will fix the problem fast, which can help lower your water bill. Stop the running and start saving today. Make the superior choice when your toilet won't stop running, and learn more at SuperiorPlumbingJacks.com.
Lauren Brooks here. I can tell you why Closets by Design has over 1,700 five-star Google reviews, because they do such a great job with both the designing and the installing of your closets. We're already working on upgrading our laundry rooms since our closet design and install was seamless. Goodbye clutter, hello organization. They'll do the same for you as they create custom storage for every space, lifestyle, and budget. From closets to garages to laundry rooms and more. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation and get 40% off plus an extra 15% off with free installation. But only until October 31st. 18-month financing is available. Call 904-878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
Helmets and heels.
It's a Big Chief Tire Monday. The local Jacksonville shop for fair prices and service you can trust.
After our son's shoulder issues were worsening, we took him to see Dr. Snyder at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, who recommended PRP treatment. We trusted Dr. Snyder's evaluation and look forward to seeing him pitch again. For the right care, the best care, we highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Pick it here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
Go inside your home team's locker room with Jags beat reporter Hayes Carline.
Check out my blog at 1010XL.com.
So you can catch all the news and nuggets you need to know.
My blog is brought to you by Roland Reach Plumbing,
where quality and experience count.
Introducing the Jags Stack at Firehouse Subs. A sub so bold, we had to name it after the team that roars. Packed with protein and made to satisfy a football-sized appetite. It's stacked with honey ham, smoked turkey, and roast beef. Topped with provolone fresh veggies and our new Duval drizzle. Order the new Jags Stack in the app right now. Available for limited time at participating Jacksonville Firehouse Subs restaurants. The hottest subs in Duval!
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just a job, but an experience, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Maxed out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. That's Loan Pronto. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is an A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and have nearly 2,500 five-star Google reviews. Call now and start the conversation. Go to loanpronto.com or call 999-1508. That's loanpronto.com.
Chelsea here, ready to upgrade your windows or patio doors? During our fall savings month, get 20% off your replacement windows and patio doors. Plus, enjoy 0 down, 0 payments, or 0 interest for 12 months. Our Acclaim Impact windows are built for Florida homes, designed to help you save on energy bills by maintaining indoor temperatures year-round. Offer ends October 31st. Restrictions apply. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free in-home consultation. License number CGC 1527613. Renewal by Anderson, where comfort meets savings.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Comic Man, Taylor Dahl, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks with you. Before we get to more Jaguars, the Titans fired their head coach a little bit ago, Brian Callahan. Rough going there for Cam Ward as far as his introduction to the NFL. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Trevor Lawrence's first year. Brian Callahan didn't skip the team plane and come back like Urban Meyer did once upon a time.
Right.
But either way, you still, I mean, as a rookie quarterback, number 1 overall pick, this is tough.
Yeah, we're like, we know how you feel. I saw something too. If you want to talk about pressures and sacks, Cam Ward's on pace right now to be sacked 71 times. The NFL record is David Carr obviously was 76, Randall Cunningham was 72, Caleb Williams had 68 last year, and Cam Ward right now is on pace for 71 sacks.
Wow.
Yeah, you can't be successful.
No.
I don't think in the NFL when you don't have enough time to just process, right?
Well, think about it. They're trying to confuse you in the first place.
Of course.
And then the clock, gets shortened by the pressure. And then you're like, I can't think. I can't even figure out which way to go and who to go next to. I think that was part of the problem on Sunday. If the first read was gone, there was really no time to go to number 2.
Yeah.
You had to figure out a way to make something happen. So who's the interim? Have they announced the interim?
They haven't said
Who's their
yet.
OC? Do you know who their OC is?
I thought it was Callahan.
Hopefully he has a good relationship with like a quarterback coach or an OC. You know what I mean?
Nick Holtz is the answer, by the way.
Okay. Nick Holtz is the interim head coach or the OC?
He's the OC.
Okay. Yeah, it'll be interesting. They've had some turmoil. Rand Carthon was there. Remember? Then they got rid of him, and obviously this isn't working out.
They got rid of Vrabel, which was the dumbest thing.
Yeah, that was pretty.
I'm pretty sure
dumb.
Callahan called the plays, so that's why. As far as that part is concerned, but there's times that I feel like we look at these NFL situations and, for instance, the Tennessee Titans, it's going to be years, I feel like, before they are successful, because you look at that roster and it just is going to take a heck of a lot of work. But then,
it's old. So you're you have an old roster works if you're trying to win. If you had something that you could win with right now, okay, if Cam Ward came in and lit up, and they have a coach that can win them a bunch of football games, and you're like, hey, we could win this year or next year. But when you have this roster, most of these guys are going to be gone next year, if not the year after, and so you're completely rebuilding a roster, and now are going to have
Ridley.
You got to hit on the QB, and if you hit on the QB, you got a chance. But you also got to hit on those really important positions, right? Like left tackle, pass rusher, wide receiver 1, the corner. You know what I mean? It goes on and on. But if you got the QB, you got a chance. I mean, there's nothing worse when you miss on the QB, because now you're set 3 years back, because you got to play him. It's too much money, too much investment. You can't just be like, all right, he's done after. I mean, some might, but for the majority of the time, you got to give him some time. And then by that time, you're like, oh my gosh, half my roster's out of here, and now I got to start over, and I got to find a new quarterback. So for Tennessee, not to say for their sake, because they're the enemy, but if Cam Ward at least hits a little bit, they should be all right down the road.
Yeah,
at least better.
That's why I'm honestly a little surprised it didn't buy him a little bit of time, just because of, to me, a lot of it is issues when it comes to the offensive line and the roster that your general manager has built, to be honest. But I guess they felt like coaching was enough into that.
And wasn't he a former offensive line coach, Callahan? So that's the other
Maybe
thing.
they're looking at that, But Pro Football Talk said the Titans haven't named an interim coach as of now. Internal options include Mike McCoy, or they could go outside the building for someone like Mike McCarthy or Eddie George.
Okay.
Mike McCoy used to be the Jaguars quarterbacks coach.
Right. Yeah. And Bill O'Callahan's the O-line coach, I would imagine, right? The dad.
Yes.
He's been known to be a great O-line coach, right?
Yeah.
The son, obviously more of a play caller, right? Or is he an O-line guy too?
Maybe I'm confusing them.
No, it's okay. I mean, but I know they're together because he brought his dad in with him to. Well, I guess they're not together any longer with Tennessee. We'll see who they keep. That'll be interesting who they make the interim. It'd be wild if they're like, "Hey, Dad, what do you think about taking over?" No, I can't. But that's tough, man. Yeah. Listen, to be fired, this early in the NFL season or any season really, that just sucks. It's look, you got to make a move. If the ownership's like, hey, we're not going anywhere, it's time to go. Go back. I hate to bring up bad memories, but I think that if it wasn't week 4 that he didn't come back, but week 10, I think Shad would have fired him. I think after week 4, you're probably like, man, I can't. I want to fire his ass. So, how do you fire him after 4 weeks? The egg on your face is just awful. Even though you could make a compelling case as to why.
Yeah, and remember too, Shad and Urban had that whole connection, right? Like Shad thought that Urban Meyer was going to bring him glory. And he fully believed that because of his success in college. And so because I think he was overlooking, some of the things that the rest of us, when Urban Meyer would go to press conferences and not know who Aaron Donald is or call the Cardinals, the Phoenix Cardinals, we were all shaking our heads. But yes, now you have brought me back down that awful path. But yeah, you're right. Brian Callahan is much more the play caller. He was the play caller for Cincinnati before he got the head coaching job with Tennessee, and the dad is the O-line coach. But yeah, as far as the Jaguars yesterday, one injury obviously of concern, Devin Lloyd. They never announced anything, so everyone was just not understanding why Ventrell Miller was playing as much as he was, and Lloyd was on the sidelines holding his helmet. It was calf tightness. We didn't know until today that it was the calf, but yesterday we just knew it was tightness of some sort, and that's why he missed a lot of the game. He did go back out in the second half, but Liam Coen basically said that he didn't look right as far as running, and so you have your takeaway leader on this team not out in that game, and that did, to me, with no takeaways, that did change things.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, like not having Trayvon out there last week, you could tell the difference.
And Trayvon was out there, but it's not the same Trayvon with the club.
No,
not at all.
I don't even know how you even try to play with that thing. I mean, you can't grab anything. You can't even swat him with it. You know what I mean? It probably hurts too much. But I will say Ventrell Miller played nice. He played a good. He played a good second half. On that one blitz that Armstead got credit for, he helped make that happen. Did they go half and half?
Yeah.
He made a really good play on the run. He smacked the center really good, like two-gapped him, and then got off the block and made a hit for no gain. So he was pretty active yesterday. But yeah, Lloyd's somebody you need out there. He's a guy that can make things happen, and hopefully his injury is not too long, because the Rams are going to be tough. I mean, we got another tough game coming up, and it doesn't get any easier from here on out.
Yeah, I think the Rams might be better than the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Offensively, I think.
At least, you can make a case
and yes,
for
they
that.
may not have Puka Nacua, but the Rams still know how to spread the ball around.
Yeah, and I mean, Seattle also was missing their entire secondary, and still were able to do what they did. So,
why do you need a secondary when you have as much pressure as they had? You really don't.
Yeah, it was funny with Ventrell Miller. So at one point, I can't remember which play it was, but he made a play, and they just said Miller in the play, and my brother was like, "Is that Von Miller?" I was like, "Not quite."
Right. Yeah. He's active, though, and he did a good job.
Yeah.
Good job yesterday. Listen, it's them not having their secondary. You really thought we'd take advantage of it, going deep and that type of thing. We tried a couple times. Obviously, the pressure. I think early they were doing. I'd like to see the real film, because I watched the replay. You can't see everything. I kind of figure it out as the play goes on and what's going on. But I like to see what they were doing, because it really did feel like, I know from watching it kind of felt like nobody was open, but there's got to be. It's always in the middle, right? Are they not open, or are you just not going to throw to them because they haven't gotten open yet? You know what I mean? And I think that's part of the issue with Trev. And it has
from the press box, I didn't see a ton of wide open guys.
Yeah, no, he's wide open and open are,
sure, absolutely different things.
You know what I mean?
But it's not like a lot of us were in the press box going, "Oh, he just completely missed that guy." Were there times on crossers and stuff?
Couple,
sure, of course. But every quarterback misses stuff, and I'm never sitting here trying to defend Trevor Lawrence to the nth degree. It just is always ironic to me when you had a game like yesterday where I felt like Trevor did everything in his power. He's not always the most accurate, but everything in his power to try and win that football game. And he was getting beat to hell. Once again, he hadn't through the first 5 games of the season, but he was yesterday, the first 4 games of the season until yesterday.
Yeah, and I think last week too he took some shots too. I think the leaking has happened the past couple weeks. Yesterday was a lot worse than against the Chiefs. But yesterday was pretty bad. They were running a lot of games. I mean, these twist stunts, and you just gotta you gotta be patient with it with how you defend those, and make sure you are communicating and passing them off and not letting them get advantage on you on the inside and that type of thing. I think they just I don't know. It didn't feel as a team. I don't want to say that for the defense, 'cause I thought they were flying around pretty good, but as a team, they just felt like, I don't know, hung over a little bit. You know what I mean? And but the Chiefs weren't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
right.
They weren't last night. They had 6 hours difference, but it just didn't feel the same. Did not feel the same kind of energy.
I will say it felt to me like there were definitely players on the offensive side of the ball that just looked a little lackadaisical. And I don't know how that's possible when you only get 17 games, but there were times that I was watching Trevor get frustrated with his guys and try and kind of talk to them, and he was feisty for sure. And it's like, the quarterback can't do everything. And again, it's not like he played a perfect game, But we've got to have other leaders on the offense stepping up, and that I didn't see yesterday.
Yeah, it definitely didn't feel like that yesterday. And like I said, I think I wasn't watching. I felt like there was a lot of moments where it was on Trevor too. Like there was a lot of throws where I was like, that guy's wide open. Why was it 5 feet above them? And some of them ended up being catches, but it was the wide receivers making plays. So to me, I feel like it's on both sides. Some of the wide receivers have to be like, why, like I'm open and you can't hit me. And then I'm sure it's reversed where Trevor's like, why is nobody getting open? And that's when you started feeling frustrations down the stretch. But there were several moments where I was like, that was a terrible throw. That was a terrible throw. Why did they have to twist their body backwards to be able to catch this ball when you had time to throw it? And there wasn't often, but when you did have it, when he did have time, it wasn't a good throw, is what I felt like.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's Trevor. You know, he's not that accurate, but you know, he didn't cost them the game, I don't think. I mean, he could have hit a few a little bit better. There's no doubt about that. And he was harassed, you know, and he didn't run. He only ran like 3 times last. You know, it was 10 times against Kansas City. Like, I thought he would get into it a little bit more. But, you know, look, offensively, they're still not clicking the way they want to click. And let's remind ourselves, defensive return for a touchdown last week, punt return for a touchdown the week before. So it's not like the offense has been on fire scoring.
Yeah. Not yet.
They've been around 18, 19 points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even
I don't think the offense has yet to get to a point where they've played well for 4 quarters by any means. All right, more to do on the other side, including Tom's takeaways. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on a Big Chief Terror Monday on 10 to Nix on 92.5 FM.
This is Helmets and Heels.
Fought for you by Green Law Group on 1010XM.
Hi, I'm Amber Frangie. You know that other Frangie? Well, he's my dad. But I'm here to tell you about how much I appreciate the Awaken 180 weight loss program and how it's changed my life. Like a lot of folks, I let myself go a little. Not proud of that, but it happens. And I wasn't sure what to do. I've tried a lot of other weight loss programs, but they just didn't work. Not like Awaken 180. Can you believe I've lost 70 pounds in less than 4 months? With Awaken 180, there's no medication, no shots, and no side effects. And best of all, really fast results. You eat the food that's provided, and it's really good food. You work with a coach on a regular basis who guides you through the whole process. I'm never hungry. In fact, I never feel like I'm sacrificing anything. Just living a totally normal life. That's my new normal. And now, in October, they're offering free consultations. So there's no reason not to call them and learn more. Call them at 844-346-1800, or you can visit awaken180.com. It really has changed my life, and I bet it'll change yours too. That's Awaken 180.
Hey, we all know Jax is more than a city, beaches, suburbs, or a destination. We're a community that takes care of each other. Hey, this is Tom McManus, former Jaguar. J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling is dedicated to serving you with respect and integrity. From estate cleanouts to furniture and appliance removal, we handle it all. Call 506-1256 for your free estimate today. We're here for you. We're veteran-owned and operated, and we are J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling.
It's a Big Chief Tire Monday on Helmets and Heels.
I'm Stacy, and I want to tell you about my fogged up window fiasco at my house. I called up Mac at Baker Glass, and he told me all I needed was a glass replacement. The process was so easy. All within a few days, they came out, measured, called me with an estimate, cut my glass, and came out to install the new ones. Now my view outside is fog-free thanks to Mac and his crew at Baker Glass. And my neighbors think I got some fancy new windows.
I'm back with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Tickets are on sale now for this year's Florida Forum Speaker Series featuring professional basketball player Caitlin Clark, Russian politician Vladimir Kara-Murza, and chef Jose Andres. The Women's Board of Wolfson Children's Hospital has committed to raising $1.5 million to support the new outdoor play area dedicated to therapists as an expansion of the 20-bed Wolfson Children's Behavioral Health and Wellness. Get your tickets now by clicking thefloridaforum.com.
Get paid to lose weight in a paid obesity research study with Encore Research. If you're 18 or older with a BMI of 27 or more, you may qualify. No insurance required, no cost to you. Enroll at EncoreDocs.com or call 904-732-6669.
Tired of roofers who never answer the phone and just use AI?
I'm Morgan Conley, the People's Roofer. I answer every call. No robots, no runaround. I'm born here, built here, staying here. Visit MorganConleyRoofing.org.
At JEA, we're committed to keeping our community storm ready all year long.
We continue to invest in our electric, water, and wastewater systems to make them more storm resistant. Our crews trim trees to help keep power lines clear from falling debris. Plus, our outage map and MyJEA app make it easier than ever to report and track outages. Whatever storm season brings, we're ready to respond, restore, and keep you informed every step of the way. Learn more about our efforts and how you can prepare at jea.com/storm.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care? Totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey ham, melted cheddar and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
I think there's definitely a handful of throws that he can look at and say, I either need to take what it is right there in terms of my first or second read, or, okay, my first read is not open, maybe pre-snap or as I'm accepting the ball. How can I quickly move on from that read, especially with the pockets? It was a dirty pocket day, and that was the reality, and we've protected at a really high level up until this past Sunday.
Liam Coen talking about whether or not Trevor Lawrence needs to be more decisive with throws. He called it a dirty pocket day. I can understand certainly that when they watch that film back today, I'm assuming that they did it today. I know they're leaving for London in a few hours, that there was a lot of time spent on the offensive line and the issues, the penalties, obviously, but also all the pressures allowed. And I do also think Liam Coen worked with Baker Mayfield, who, even with a dirty pocket, can make stuff happen. Even with guys injured, can make the accurate throws. And so he's learning, I would say, about how to best play call for Trevor, who is a completely different quarterback than Baker Mayfield.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Baker's something
He's
else,
insane,
man.
yeah.
I love the way that he's so confident. I love what he just said recently, too.
Yeah.
He's like,
I've always been like this.
Yeah, I've always been like
but
this.
But I got criticized for it before.
because if you're losing, people look at you different.
But he made the playoffs with the Browns, and yet they still discarded him and jettisoned him out.
Said he was too cocky and whatnot.
Right.
Now he's like got moxie.
But I get it. Like when
everyone's like Baker's bacon,
Right.
like this is what it is.
When you play for a losing organization, a perennially losing organization, if you have that confidence and swag, people automatically look at that as negative.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
Because
cocky.
absolutely.
Right.
It's like when a couple weeks ago when Florida State was playing Virginia Miami, and they were down by like 3 scores, and then the FSU receiver did like put to sleep thing, and it obviously went viral.
They're
and
like,
it's
bro, you're down 3 touchdowns.
Right. Like you can't do that. And so when you are in all those commercials, but the Browns as an organization are losing, that's where people put that association with him. But we continued the conversation in the break just about how Trevor Lawrence, the one guy that the Seattle beat reporter that Jaguars Today had on last week, Ian Furness, he said, isn't Trevor an enigma to you guys? Like, he has to be that. I do understand why people don't yet know what exactly Trevor Lawrence is going to be in this league.
Yeah, well, again, it's just inconsistent. He's shown brilliance, and then he's shown like he doesn't know what he's doing, or you don't understand that he doesn't see certain things. Or look, you go back and watch. There were definite times early in the play he's got time. So he's either got to make a decision. He's either got to throw it or he's got to move out of the pocket or something, because he was getting late pressure, and then he didn't know what to, like, he tried to escape. Sometimes he would. Sometimes they catch him. You know what I mean? It's just,
and
it just got to be too much.
He's had so many clean pockets to this point in the season
Yep.
that, to me, that's where he was used to having more time.
Last week he felt more in command, especially the last drive he felt more in command. I didn't feel like he felt like he was in command of the offense.
Definitely not. Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there were factors that factored into that, but just from the get-go, I mean, look, they took the ball like they're like, all right, we're going. And they got sacked in the first play.
Yeah.
Trying to escape and got a sack. Then there was a penalty, and then you're like, the hell is going on? It's 3-0. We're punting the
Jags
ball
put it
away.
8 times yesterday.
Yeah.
That's a lot of punting.
I know.
Yeah, and then taking the sack when that field goal to right before the field goal.
Yeah.
Those things are things you don't want to see happen. One of the things that worries me a little bit too, and we've had the conversation this offseason so much about the depth, and that's been the conversation of like, building the depth on this team. And so when one person gets hurt, things don't fall off. So far, the examples aren't great when we talk about that because Trayvon goes out and Josh, you get no pressures whatsoever pretty much against Kansas City. Hainsey's out, and then your line gets totally wrecked by the Seattle defense. Devin Lloyd goes out. You're not getting turnovers. The defense looks rough. Not saying that the defensive bad play is all because Devin Lloyd wasn't playing. There was multiple things going on. But that is a little bit of a concern to me because if you lose anybody for a long period of time, do you really have the players to step up and make the plays and make you feel like you can play you did the first 4 weeks? With issues still going also, by the way, with still penalties constantly being made and drops happening and all of these other things.
Yeah, we had special teams penalties this time around. It's kind of not normal for us, you know. KC had 4 against them last week. I know it's a copycat league, but that's one we don't want to copycat.
Yeah, I think Brenton Strange, obviously,
he's
Strange. Missing Brenton Strange is massive for this team that prides himself on running the football, and then also when your O-line needs help, you're missing a guy that is able to help them. And so I do think not having him, we talked about it at the time that it was going to be a big blow. The Jaguars were still able to win the game against Kansas City,
but isn't that why you got all these blocking tight ends? Like that's my point. Like you built this product. We were saying that the depth was deeper to where you had 50 guys that you knew. You only had a couple places to figure out in that last couple weeks of the training camp. And so far, each person that's dropped, you're seeing a massive change that when they're not on the football field.
You mean not have? Well, listen, I think Hunter Long's a good tight end. He's got to catch the ball. That one throw, other than that, he was okay. He got the holding penalty. Got to put that hand inside, I guess you could say that was Strange, but Strange is, look, we had Ingram and then Strange, so there wasn't a big drop off there. We don't have. I mean, Johnny Munt's a good player. But. He'd probably want more opportunity to show what he can do. I think on defense, look, we got beat and look, it's still getting beat. But if you think about it, it was the 61-yard touchdown.
And then
the 61-yard touchdown. And then Njigba beat us a few, 15-yard passes. Other than that, were there any, to make you think of anything that beat us? And by the way, the touchdown, again, should have never happened. There should have been a safety inside. They should have been bracketing him all the way down the field. It didn't happen. So that was.
I don't even think they got a touchdown on the Barnard.
No, they didn't.
Reception.
No, I'm talking about the
Njigba one
down the middle.
They also allowed another 61-yarder that they just didn't score off of that one. And by that point in time, the clock was.
That's what
down.
they're good at, though. Those explosive plays, and that was a stat I had read that Sam Darnold has the highest completion percentage in the league, like 86 on those deep throws down the field, and that's what they do. They can get a few of those a game and beat people, and that's what they did.
Yeah, I'd like the Jags to be able to do that. All right, time now for Tom's takeaways.
Now,
Okay, it's go time.
Tommy's Takeaways. Jacked up by J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling. Call 506-1256 for your free estimate today. We are here for you. Veteran owned and operated.
All right, my takeaway today on this Monday after a bad loss to Seattle is, hey, fellas, it's time to just kind of, get up, dust yourself off, look in the mirror, watch that tape intently, be your worst critic, and make sure that you clean up these mistakes that are happening. As far as not being physical enough, you better check your will. I suggested earlier on my podcast that the O-line should go to a London pub, get really drunk today, like they're going to have maybe some tomorrow off. It'll get them bonding. They can tell war stories. They can talk about how much they love each other. The more they drink, the more they'll love each other. And then when they wake up in the morning, they'll be like, man, that was pretty cool. And now I'm ready to go to battle with my guys. But you got to come together after this loss because 4-2 could turn into 4-4 very quickly if you're not careful. And that's my takeaway today, brought to you by our friends at J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling.
Yeah, I'm glad that post-London there is a bye this week. The Jaguars' schedule lays out, I feel like, in a better way as far as that's concerned, because obviously an incredibly difficult game with the Rams in London. And yes, the Jaguars are going, they leave later today. The Rams are not going until like Friday. So there's a big disparity between the two. But then after the bye, then the Jaguars are in Vegas as well as we will be.
Yeah, right.
That is coming up quickly. And so that, at least I think as of now, is a little bit easier of a game. But yeah, you don't want the 4-2 to turn into where you're no longer with a winning record. And that's I have to remind myself, 4-2, even with all the issues, can certainly still be cleaned up, and this team can have a chance at the postseason. Because right now, by the way, if the season ended today, the Bucks and the Colts would have the number one overall seeds.
Well, the Colts look like they're getting better every week too. So that's not something you really want to see.
Think about those two plays that we've been talking about. Those are two back-to-back mental errors. Now they're different, right? Because the one against the Chiefs, where the safety wasn't there, Wingard blitzed, and Eric Murray jumped the under route and didn't help Tyson on the same route that Newsome got burnt on yesterday. Now it's a different kind of way, but now Wingard's the safety. They didn't blitz, actually, so the other safety was there, but Wingard's the deep guy, and he's not there. So that's just one thing you clean up.
Right.
Because trust me, the other teams are going to go for that. They're going to see that, and they're going to be like, oh, he's got outside coverage. Let's throw a little over-under on him, and then we'll hit him deep, and they're going to try it again. So you got to make sure the safeties can clean up. I would look, Wingard's a veteran. He's going to look in the mirror. He knows he didn't have a good day yet. I mean, those guys, you know after the game immediately whether he had a good game or not. Yeah. Unless your head's in the clouds and you don't give a crap. But most of those guys, they care. So I would think that they're pretty hard on themselves. And I think the coaches are going to be hard on them too, because you let some things slip away. I mean, you can't look back. You can't go back in time. But 6-0 is not that far away in a grasp for this team, or could have been. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
certainly 5-1.
Oh, without question.
If you play better yesterday, you're 5-1.
Yep.
You head to London against the Rams with a lot of confidence. All right, Tom, more to do on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on Tentinix on 92.5 FM.
In your car, at home, or on your phone, radio play-by-play is where you are.
What a game for the Jacksonville defense.
1010XL, Jacksonville's home for play-by-play.
This is Helmets and Heels.
Fought for you by Green Law Group on 1010XL.
Landscapers, St. Augustine grass homeowners, listen up. Tired of dealing with the brown and thinning lawn? TopDressing.com is now in Jax. Give them a call. Let them be your St. Augustine solution. Quick, professional, white glove service for your lawn. Listen, they treated my lawn and I couldn't be happier. Green, lush, smooth grass, just like I wanted. They're the best in the business. There's no better time than now. If you're ready for a change, give them a call, 888-850-1850, and top dress your lawn like the pros with TopDressing.com.
It's a Big Chief Tire Monday, the local Jacksonville shop for fair prices and service you can trust.
Hey, Tommy Mack here. When it comes to glass, you don't want average, you want flawless. Duval Glass and Mirror has transformed homes and businesses across Jacksonville for over 35 years. Frameless showers that wow. Mirrors cut exactly to your style. Fogged or broken glass replaced. Decorative tabletops, windows replaced or repaired to stand up to those Florida storms. All backed by a 100% guarantee. Visit DuvalGlass.com for your free quote. There's only one name for glass and mirror, and it's Duval.
I'm Frank Frangie for Ricketts Electric. Any good lineup needs power. When we needed power at the Bregan Baseball Complex and all the fields we have at Fort Family Park, we trusted Ricketts Electric. You're going to love these guys. The Ricketts family has been providing commercial and residential electric service for years. Call my friend Zach today at 904-320-5960. You can also find them on Facebook and at RickettsElectric.com. Ricketts Electric, the city's best power connection. Call them today at 904-320-5960.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Football season is finally here, and with that, hopefully comes cooler weather. And if you've been wanting to upgrade your outdoor living space and just haven't pulled the trigger, you should call the experts at Lifetime Enclosures right now. From glass lanais to screened-in enclosures, Lifetime Enclosures and Flooring is the best in the business. Give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Tell them Prosser sent you.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On October 13, 1967, the Seattle Supersonics dropped a 144-116 decision to the San Francisco Warriors in what was their first NBA game.
Fences come in all shapes and sizes. It's not just as simple as build me a fence. That's where Duval Fence steps in. They've got it all, from vinyl and aluminum to chain link and quality wood fencing. Duval Fence has been part of Jacksonville since the 70s, and their work stands up to the test of time. Companies come and go, but serving the community as a valued business partner means something to Duval Fence. Residential, commercial, large industrial projects. Check out DuvalFence.com for the local original fence company.
Tired of plumbers trying to sell you instead of help you? At Superior Plumbing and Pipeline, we do things differently. We hire real plumbers, not salesmen, and we never pay commission. That means no upselling, no pressure, and no unnecessary repairs. Just honest, expert work at a fair price. So the next time you need a plumber you can trust, make the superior choice and call Superior Plumbing and Pipelining, where quality comes first and honesty is standard. Superior Plumbing and Pipelining. No commissions, just solutions. Learn more at SuperiorPlumbingJacks.com.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
Hi folks, Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Ever wonder what to do with leftover paint that you don't want? Here's a few options. Paint can be placed in the regular trash if it's dry. Simply stir in kitty litter to a thick consistency. Then wait a few days with the lid off till it dries. Also, if the paint is good, there's many charities or churches that would love to have it. If you'd like more tips or have a project, we'd love to help. Go to performance-painting.com. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting!
Say goodbye to glasses and contacts with customized vision treatments at Bowden Eye & Associates. Hey, Hicken here. Dr. Bowden and his expert team bring you all the latest options like Evo implantable Caliber lenses, refractive lens exchange, or traditional LASIK. Tailored just for you. Imagine waking up to clear vision. No hassle, no fuss. You ready to see the difference? Call now or visit BowdenEye.com for a free screening. Bowden Eye & Associates, keeping the first coast focused.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Lately, I've been thinking, I want you to.
Welcome back to Helmets and Heels on this Big Chief Tire Monday. Victory Mondays are more fun for the record, but considering we've had 4 of them this season and we had 4 all of last season, I'm going to keep that in perspective.
Yeah.
Keep it in perspective for sure. All right, by the way, head coaches with the #1 overall pick. Doesn't go according to plan. Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence fired after 2-11. Frank Reich and Bryce Young fired after 1-10. Matt Eberflus and Caleb Williams fired after 4-8. Brian Callahan and Cam Ward fired after 1-5.
Yeah, not an easy life.
You don't want to be either, really, of those. Yeah. The #1 overall pick usually gets more chances than that head coach does. By the way, Taylor, you submitted your picks last week, and we had Aaron Beasley read them.
Yeah.
With like what how you came up with your team to choose, and you had Flus in one of them.
Oh.
And
He said Fluss.
Yeah, he was just like reading. He was like, Fluss. I don't know what that means. And I was like, she means Flus, Matt Eberflus.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Funny.
I honestly probably should have typed that word out, but
it's all good.
Yeah.
And that didn't go well.
You didn't know that I was going to hand the paper to
Aaron Beasley.
read.
That's
He was
right.
like, I got this. I just can't do it in her voice. It was perfect, though. All right, time now. Speaking of Taylor, for Taylor's Tangent.
Now, Taylor's Tangent, served up by Chick-fil-A on 1010XL.
I first off want to shout out to technology, because driving back from South Carolina, able to just watch the Jags game the whole way home. It's very nice that we get to do that now. My brother had his iPad just like set up on the thing, and the sound streaming through the car too. So we had like surround sound on, watching the game. It would have been way more fun with the win, obviously. But yeah, so shout out to technology. But a few notes from around the NFL from Week 5 football. Some interesting stuff. So with 2 games left, obviously there's 2 Monday night games, Bears versus Commanders and Falcons and Bills tonight. 8 games were within 1 score in the fourth quarter, and 6 games were decided by 1 score, including 2 wins by Carolina and the Chargers that featured the game-winning score in the final minute. So it just continues. There's a lot of close games in the NFL right now. So I don't even know how much you can say, but we barely lost or we barely won, whatever the case may be, because there's a lot of those right now. It's just kind of, it is what it is. And
Technically,
also,
the Jaguars lost a 1-score game. I don't really want to say
they
that.
do
though.
count 8 in this.
They
It is
do,
8.
right? But the Seahawks decided not to go for the field goal because they could just kneel it down instead of giving the
And
ball
that
back
would've
to the
been 2
Jaguars,
scores.
and that would have it should have been 23-12.
Yeah.
But either way,
Yeah, and then so the Colts, this is one that we obviously don't love here, but they improved to 5-1 after missing the postseason last year. In 35 of the past 36 seasons, at least one team that missed the playoffs the year before have won 5 of its first 6 games this next season, which that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I was thinking last year, I was like, it had to have been the Commanders last year because, you know, they did what they did early. The year before, I think it was the Texans. The year before, I think it was the Jags. So it's kind of, because they didn't win 5.
it might have been the Bengals.
So maybe
at
the
some point in
Bengals,
time.
yeah. So it's just interesting.
It'll be the
to
Ravens
see how,
next year.
Yeah,
By the way.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Assuming they don't make the postseason
this
year,
year.
which is still a
That would be.
possibility.
I mean, if they do, that would be a lot of credit. I think Lamar's coming back this week, so that should be, I guess, good for them. But the Broncos tallied 9 sacks in their awful game, 13-11 over the Jets. Broncos are the 3rd team since 1990 with at least 5 sacks in 4 of their first 6 games of the season, joining the 2019 Patriots and the 2000 Bucks for that. That game was, I mean.
Fields had negative yards.
Negative
passing.
10 net yards, which, by the way, isn't the first time he did that. He did that against the Browns a couple years ago with the Bears, too. The Patriots quarterback, Drake May, he looks really good right now, passed for 261 yards and 3 touchdowns with 140.1 passer rating in the win over the Saints. May is the 4th different player in NFL history under the age of 24 to record at least 200 passing yards and a passer rating of 100+ in 5 straight games. He's joining Mahomes from 2018, Dan Marino from 1984, and Dak Prescott in 2016.
Wow.
Yeah, I picked the Patriots to beat the Saints as my wild card.
Yeah, right.
So I was paying very close attention to that game, and everything was like Drake May is just going off. I was like, that's right, that's right,
That's my Drake.
that's my Drake is right. By the way, are you?
There's 2 more.
Okay,
Sorry.
go for it.
Chargers Justin Herbert completed 29 of 38 passes for 76.3% for 264 and 2 touchdowns in his win over Miami. Justin
Miami's
Herbert. They're
collapsing.
I mean, to his comments about his
self-inflicted.
Oh my goodness, this is a mess. Herbert has 35 career games with at least 2 touchdown passes and a passer rating of 100+, joining Mahomes, who has 44 games, and Russell Wilson, who has 36, as the only players with at least 35 such games in their first 6 seasons. So when you talk about people picking Justin Herbert over Trevor Lawrence, that's one of the examples of why a lot of people lean that way. Max Crosby, the man's insane. He's one of the best players in the NFL already, and this year he's just proving why he deserves the money that he gets paid. But Max Crosby recorded 2 sacks against Tennessee. Crosby has 10 tackles for loss this season, joining Jared Allen and Aaron Donald as the only players since 2000 with at least 10 tackles for loss in each of their first 7 seasons.
Wow.
Yeah, he's
he's
obviously
incredible.
on the schedule.
Yeah,
like we talked about, the game after the bye week is in Vegas at the Raiders, and so you're gonna have to account for him.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah,
he's
he's a
unbelievable.
beast.
He can go anywhere. It's amazing. I mean, I know he's a big guy, but it's not. He's thin for being a big guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's just ridiculously athletic and tough, and unless
He's
he goes
so
against
fast,
Ozzy
too, and
Trapillo, then he has trouble.
Yeah.
But other than that,
Yeah.
he's pretty awesome.
Well, the beginning of that game, I said it on here when obviously the Bears played the Raiders. He wasn't the first half of that game. He had a forced fumble, a pick, a sack, 4 batted balls. So that's one of the things that the Jags, I think, are going to really have to focus on because he's so quick at getting there and getting up. Like he's constantly heading the balls. I think he has the most. I want to say I read a stat where it's like the most in the last 5 seasons of any defensive end that's played, and so he's so good at that. But he plays mainly. Mainly technically he's supposed to be in front of Anton, but they will move him and they'll say, "Hey, Walker's struggling, send him over there and just let him go ham."
I mean, listen, they just went against a good D-line, but it doesn't get any easier.
No.
I mean, Jared Verse is a heck of a defensive end. He can get after it. That D-line with Fisk and company, they're good, man.
And Fisk can stop the run, too.
Then you got the Raiders, too. You know, they've got some players, too. So,
yep, buckle up, boys.
yeah, no doubt. Get it together. I
was going to say, as far as the Chick-fil-A giveaway on my rundown, I have takeaway instead of giveaway. So that's
you get it.
I was just thinking that's how good the Jaguars defense has been at takeaways. I literally have takeaway instead of giveaway. But we do have lunch to give away. What caller number would you like?
We do. Let's do caller number 3. You get free lunch to Chick-fil-A today.
All right, 641-1010, caller number 3. Lauren's Lane on the other side. We will get it to James Franklin. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on a Big Chief Tire Monday on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It's D-Rock's Deep Dive into Jacksonville football.
Hey, where's your sense of adventure? Mike DeRocco with Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony every Thursday on Jaguars Today. Opened by Lee and Kate's Glass. on 1010XL.
Helmets and heels.
From the Greenlaw Group Studios.
Did you know that for every inch of rain on a 2,000 square foot roof, 1,500 gallons come off the eaves of the roof? Call Clearwater Seamless Gutters and Drainage, and we'll design a plan using our Clearwater Seamless Gutters, and we'll connect those gutters to a Clearwater drainage system to solve your erosion and standing water issues.
Clearwater Seamless Gutters. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at gutters.
And drainage, too.
SeamlessGuttersJacksonville.com.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. When pests invade your home or business, you don't just need them out, you need them out fast. And you need to keep them out. At Terminix, they will show up for you and they will eliminate pests quicker, just like they did at my house, because they care about what matters most to you. When pests show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with a pest problem. We certainly didn't want to. Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule your free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com.
Big Chief Tire Monday on Helmets and Heels.
ET here, and if you've ever been injured in an accident, you have 14 days to see a doctor and protect your insurance benefits. You have the right to choose your own doctor, too. And I recommend McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation, the auto accident experts.
Give us your hot take.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
On the 1010XL text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures.
You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm awake and I speak English, so yeah, I do know what you're saying.
Be part of the conversation. 641-1010.
When storms start to crop up in the Atlantic or Gulf this time of year, having a solid plan to handle anything that sweeps through the First Coast is very important. That's where American Electrical comes in. Ensure your home's safety and comfort with an American Electrical home generator. As the area's leading home generator dealer and installer, American Electrical can offer you easy installation, simple maintenance, and peace of mind. Schedule an assessment by simply calling the team at American Electrical. They'll walk you through the best generator for your home or business. Log on, american-electrical.com.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here. You've heard me talking about Pella Windows and Doors. With great ratings and expert reviews, you know they're high quality and energy efficient products. So what's your next step? Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or just stop by the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. Their professional design consultants will guide you through your entire project from start to finish. And that's the quality and service you can expect from Pella Windows and Doors.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
Hey folks, this is Denny Thompson, and when it comes to protecting my home, I turn to Tyson, the leaders in state-of-the-art home security right here in Jacksonville. Their AI cameras and smart doorbells are top-notch, keeping an eye on what matters most. Whether you're moving in or upgrading, Tyson offers flexible packages, rent or own, with specials on the first 3 years. Ramp up now for the holidays, the perfect gift for you or someone you love. Call Tyson today at 590-7979 for details.
Lucas Tree Service is a certified arborist and a local family-owned business with over 45 years of experience. They specialize in tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for both residential and commercial properties. Get prepared for storm season and receive top-notch customer service from Lucas Tree Service, 904-241-3533. Online at lucastreeservice.com.
When you're faced with damage in your home from water, fire, or mold, you need a team with the expertise to fix it right.
Rest-A-Pros!
A locally owned, nationally backed franchise that's here to help you when you need them. A team that does it right the first time.
Rest-A-Pros!
Remember, you don't have to use the insurance company's preferred contractors. Get it done right by a licensed professional you can trust. Call 904-201-9151 or go to RestaProsNEFlorida.com. That's RestaProsNEFlorida.com.
Rest-A-Pros! With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Hey folks, it's Frank Frangie for Lee and Kate's Glass. They say you're going to see a big difference, but what does that really mean? It means a live local person on the phone, a smooth, easy process, skilled craftsmen, and excellent customer service all around, with your satisfaction absolutely guaranteed. Visit LeeandKatesGlass.com.
With Lee and Kate's
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. The 2025-26 NBA regular season is right around the corner as the Orlando Magic will be taking on the Miami Heat in Orlando at the Kia Center next Wednesday night for a 7 o'clock tip. The undefeated Florida Panthers are back on the ice tonight as they take on the Philadelphia Flyers in the city of brotherly love at 7. It's 83 degrees at 3:04. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. So literally at some point during the game yesterday, the press box all of a sudden starts talking about James Franklin's fired. And it's always crazy when something like that happens, when you realize that he had won, and Penn State had won 3 years in a row, double-digit seasons is what they had. Literally 13 games they won last season. And then, of course, this year's not going according to plan.
Yeah.
Drew Aller lost for the season now. But still the fact that he's going to be paid $56 million not to coach, not to work, $56 million with that buyout. And yes, it's not the most expensive buyout ever. Jimbo Fisher's was at Texas A&M. But still, like,
What
all
is
those
Billy's?
things, Billy's is much less than that. I think it's like closer to 20.
20, okay.
Yeah. So, and at some point, yes, Billy Napier will be fired. We all know that Florida played it close against Texas A&M, but Texas A&M is better. And Billy plays, or his play calling is terrible. But what's insane is that the fact that Penn State was ranked number 2 overall in the country leading into the season. So why are the writers, so far off too?
Yeah, well, that's part of it we've talked about on this show so much. The preseason rankings suck.
Yeah.
There's too much change in college football in one offseason now. And I could see it. Back in the day, it made more sense when there wasn't the way the portal is, NIL, you being able to play immediately when you go somewhere else. All of those things have changed the landscape of college football in so many different ways. And one of the biggest ones is saying that now some of these teams come in and they have like 9 of 11 new starters on their offense or defense or whatever it may be. And so that there's no way you can predict where a team is rankings wise with that. There's multiple teams now that started the season with Texas, with Penn State, with South Carolina. So many of these teams were ranked, and then they became unranked, and it's just
Florida
too hard
was ranked
to predict.
too.
Florida.
Yeah.
And so it is. I hate the preseason rankings. I think that there's just no way you can measure now what a team is and the way that college football is.
Yeah, they go by last year. They go by stars. How many do you have? 4 or 5 stars? Who's the new guy? Who's coming in? Whatever the case may be. And then they're like, yeah, you should be number 2. I mean, we've been saying that for a while. I think you wait till after week 4 to figure it out. Here's the question. Say Penn State wasn't ranked at all going in. Just say for whatever reason. Would he be fired today?
I think still probably, and I think that's because Penn State should never lose to a team like Northwestern is how they feel.
Yeah.
I
Like
also
UCLA
think,
with the season they've had.
right, absolutely. UCLA hadn't won.
But they're still Division
So here's
I
what I
programs.
think,
mean,
and
they're
no
not-
one's told me this by any means.
Yeah.
I'm not connected to people at Penn State, but I think it's James Franklin's cocky attitude that has got him where he is now. Like, I think the reason I do believe Billy Napier still has the job, even though I think he'll eventually lose it, is I do think that he treats people well. Not everyone agrees, obviously, with some of the things he says and does, but I do think that he's a nice human being. And I don't know that Penn State with James Franklin felt like that. And so I think when you get to the boiling point, and that is, the multiple losses this season, after you were supposed to be winning the national championship or at least making the college football playoff again, that's where I think they decided to move on.
I just maybe if expectations weren't so high, you wouldn't be so let down. You know what I mean? Like they should have never been number 2 in the country. It just shows they should have never been anywhere near that. But at the end of the game, look, these big schools, Penn State included, it's championship or bust, isn't it? I mean, the money's so big right now. We're paying these guys so much money. The NIL is so
Not
big.
to coach.
We expect, I mean, hey, take the $56 million and run all the way wherever you want to go.
I wouldn't coach again, and I know every coach wants to coach until
Wants
they
to do
die, so it's
something,
different. But
yeah.
I personally would be like, I'm going to cash this check. I saw one stat, I forget
could
what it
do
is
that.
now, but it was like he's going to make like $100,000 a day or something along those lines, like something ridiculous.
So He's 1-5 against top 5 teams, 4-21 against top 10 teams, and 15-28 and top 25 teams. That you can't. That's not if you're a team like Penn State.
before.
Yeah.
And when you look at Georgia, Taylor, so Georgia had Mark Richt, who was a good, not great head coach. And Georgia was like, well, we want to win a national championship.
Yeah.
We don't think we can do that with Mark Richt. And so they moved on. Now, he was obviously also a super nice guy, very well respected. But they moved on, and look what happened.
Yep.
Eventually, they end up with 2 national championships and potentially more down the road.
And that's what I think a lot of times it's like you're good, but you're not great, and you're not going to take us over that hump. And teams like a Penn State want to win championships, and that's kind of what it is. And it also made me start thinking about, because it's happening, you're not even midway through the season, or you're not even over midway. And so you're just getting to that point. So it does feel early, but at the same time, I wonder how much now the only having one portal, it's in January, how much that's going to start changing how teams kind of adjust to coach firings or hirings or whatever the case may be, because you don't have a whole lot of time. Like, the season is going on when this portal opens, and you've got to figure it out. So you've got to see now, like, this recruiting class, how many players are we going to lose if we get rid of James Franklin? Because which there were already before he was fired, one of the kids, that top running back, I can't remember his last name right now, but he decommitted right before that anyway. So how many players are looking at this and being like, I love Penn State, but I don't really want to be with James Franklin. And so if that firing changes and gets you some recruits of, okay, this program's doing something to be better, how many do you get, but also who do you lose, and how many players were committed to James Franklin? And you need to know that now, because you have to see what you have to do in the recruiting process, because you don't have much longer to figure out your recruiting class for next year.
Hopefully they have an interim that the players like, that will want to stick around, because that coach may have a shot at least sticking around on the staff, right? May not be the head coach, but that's a challenging thing. I mean, you got guys that are freshmen, they're sitting there going, well, do I want to stay here?
Yeah.
Maybe I need to start looking and where I can go and shine. Look, Northwestern, I mean, obviously they're not the best, program in the Big Ten, but at least it's Big Ten, you know what I mean? So they shouldn't be losing to Northwestern. It was a pretty tight game. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know, sometimes you just got to cut bait, and try for something fresh. It's funny, we at Boston College, we fired Tom O'Brien. Remember Tom O'Brien? Mm-hmm. He won every year. But we were like, yeah, but you don't beat the top 25 teams. And now we're like, damn, we wish we had Tom O'Brien back. We take 8-4,
yeah, sometimes
9-3.
it's not greener.
No, right. It's this thing. You just never,
I feel
never
like
know.
Lovie
Today's
Smith
a lot
Lovie was a big one.
Yeah, right. Lovie,
Yeah, because they fired him after a 10-win season, but you weren't winning playoff games, and people were like, okay. I mean, Mike Tomlin is probably one of the biggest examples of of people saying, there's fans that are like, it's time to go, because you're at 500 or a little above 500 every year, but if you're not winning at all, like, you haven't had a Super Bowl in over a decade.
Yeah.
And so now what? And so but you could lose Mike Tomlin and get someone to where now you're going through head coaches every few years, like other teams have to do. And then what? Like, I mean, it's not always greener, but sometimes I do feel like you do have to take the chance.
I think a program like Penn State, you're counted on being in that playoff, going for the championship every year.
Yeah,
you got the money, you got the TV money coming in, you got the NIL money, you got all our support, you got the portal, you got great facilities, you got this great stadium. Like, if you don't win a championship every so often at Penn State, you're probably not going to be here. But that's the stakes today, isn't it?
Yeah,
you can say that about a lot of schools.
For sure. There's probably 30 schools, I would say. I'd have to go through, but that believe they should be in the cultural playoff every single year. If they're not, they're going to fire their coach and move on, and they have enough money and resources to do it. So I do want to mention this crazy thing when it comes to college football. Time now for Lauren's Lane.
Now, Lauren's Lane, driven by Mazda at the Avenues. This is luxury. This is Mazda at the Avenues.
I texted y'all about this earlier today. So Oregon State and Penn State fired their coaches after the new transfer portal rule went into place, okay? So Oregon State and Penn State have one set of rules now. Mm-hmm. Then you've got, Arkansas, Oklahoma State, UCLA, and Virginia Tech have the old rule. So literally now there are teams in college football that are operating under different rules. So I'll explain. The old rule, the roster, once a coach is fired, has 30 days to enter the transfer portal. And then now the new rule, 5 days after a new head coach is hired, so not right now, no interims, they don't count against that, then the roster will have 15 days to enter the portal. So again, for Arkansas, Oklahoma State, UCLA, and Virginia Tech, their rosters have 30 days to enter the transfer portal as soon as the coach is fired. They can leave basically whenever they want after those 30 days.
So Penn State screwed themselves even more?
No, some people think, well, in theory, it helps really the roster stay intact. So you can look
But not
at
the
it.
players.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's where it depends on how you're looking at it. But basically, Penn State should be able to keep its roster together a little bit more because once the new head coach is hired,
then
the permanent head coach, then they 5 days after that, then they only have 15 days in that transfer portal window. The other group has 30 days the moment the head coach is fired. But how do we not have every school following the same rules for the here and now?
And maybe that's why they waited. Like to wait for the changes to happen because they're like, well, we're not going to lose our entire roster in 30 days if we wait a couple of weeks.
Listen, they're going to trim the fat. I'm telling you, there's going to be a super league. It's going to be a super league. It's coming. You watch.
Do you
They'll
think
all be on the same.
Do you think Arkansas and them will try and fight that at all?
No.
No?
No.
No
It's
way?
just that's the rule. The NCAA approved it when they did. But yeah, and most of the head coaches are okay with the one transfer portal window. They just would have preferred it to not happen during the season. They would have preferred it to happen after spring practice.
I think I know the answer, but to get a commissioner again, would every commissioner of every conference need to vote yes? Is that how it would work?
I would imagine so. That
I mean, how do you get it sounds like it doesn't feel like you just need someone at the top.
If you're Greg Sankey, why would you want an NCAA commissioner?
Right,
you have power, and
Yeah.
your conference has power in the SEC. All right, we got more to do on the other side. We'll keep the football conversation going. You're listening to Helmets and Heels on a Big Chief Tire Monday. You can find them online at WeKeepJacksRollin.com. It's 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Check in Tuesdays for Jeff Lageman and Check the Tape Tuesday.
We'll keep you up to date with the latest and NFL news.
Tuesdays during football season on Jaguars Today. Checked by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL. From the Queen Law Group Studios.
Helmets and Heels.
This is Josh Woolsey with Woolsey Morecambe. When deciding what lawyer to trust with your car accident or injury case, the most reliable way is reviews and results. You want to be treated well, and you want a great result. Woolsey Morecambe's reviews speak for themselves, and I challenge any firm to compare results. We offer the resources of a large law firm and the customer service of a boutique practice. If you want to be treated right and want great results, call Woolsey Morecambe at 1-800-WOOLSEY and take the fear out of the fight. Offices, Jacksonville.
Hey, Jaguars fans, Tom McMahon is here. Crown Royal is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars this season. It's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with the generous spirit. Visit crownroyal.com/royal rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Remember, please drink responsibly.
It's a Helmets and Heels Big Chief Tire Monday.
To get this thing unwrapped here.
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Daily Stash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Daily Stash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course.
Oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Daily Stash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Daily Stash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Go! The Friday night lights stay bright well after the game. Catch the winning coaches with Hacker and Dylan Denmark.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists Friday Night Lights.
Presented by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
Homeowners, storms don't wait, so why should you? Protect your home and your wallet with Universal Roof and Contracting. Save up to 20% on roof replacements and repairs now through October 31st. Financing is available with payments as low as $115. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting. Protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
Don't ghost your carpet this fall. Hicken here. Right now, you can get your entire home zero-resified from Jacksonville's Ultimate Carpet Cleaner and get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $139 plus a free haul for Halloween. Get it? There's something scarier than ghosts and goblins hiding in your home. It's in your air ducts. This month, take 50% off your air duct and dryer vent cleaning. Schedule your appointment at ZeroResJacksonville.com. Ask for the 1010XL special. Zero Res, spelled backwards and forwards. It spells the same. Zero Res.
Zero Res.
Coen Flowers announces their home holiday decorating team is now taking orders for the holiday season. This is RJ with 1010XL. No more hassling with tree buying, untangling, and hanging burned out lights. Call on Coen Flowers. They do it all.
Home is where your story begins. And at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to make it the healthiest, most comfortable place it could be. Whether it's fresh, clean air, dependable plumbing, or reliable power, we take care of it all. From routine maintenance to state-of-the-art solutions, Donovan keeps your home running smoothly. Because at Donovan, we believe your home isn't just where you live, it's where your health meets comfort. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing at 904-270-COOL or visit us online. Let's make your home healthier, safer, and better together.
I'm Frank Franzi, and I just got back from the farm at Okefenokee. Man, it's incredible. Just an hour north of Jacksonville and Folkestone. I was so impressed. It's about connecting with nature, with food, with community. And now you can own your very own handcrafted cabin tucked into a 1,000-acre regenerative farm. Everything you need is there. You'll hardly need to go grocery shopping. Learn more about all of it at okefarm.com. That's O-K-E farm.com, the farm at Okefenokee.
When you need a mechanic you can trust, call Sam, Harry, or Joe at AA Automotive on Richard Street. From oil changes to complex engine repairs, AA Automotive promises expert service and honest pricing from a local family biz. AA Automotive on Richard Street.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Yeah, it's on me. It's an undisciplined operation at the moment, and it's on me, and it's got to get fixed. It's a great opportunity this week to get it fixed, right? We're going on the road. We're flying to another country. Being together as a group, look ourselves in the mirror and try to figure out, from an operation and habit standpoint, what is standing in our way, because right now it's us.
What does he mean, Tom, by habits? Bad habits die
Well,
hard.
it could be habits on the field, just, doing things the easier way. Every position has them, you know what I mean? Like, I know for linebackers, you jump around blocks instead of taking them on because it's easier to jump around them and hopefully make the play. But when you don't, it's a bad move to jump around them. You know what I mean? Quarterbacks, it could be just the way they throw the football. Mechanics could be off. I know the announcers spoke about Trevor's footwork throughout the game.
Yeah, I was getting messages that Mark Schlereth was talking a lot about Trevor Lawrence, and I wanted to remind people Mark Schlereth was on that game with Chris Myers because Mark Sanchez is able to broadcast in the here and now.
He was fair.
Yeah, from what I was told.
He said some really good things too. He's like, when there's a good throw, he'd be like, oh no, that's a really good throw. But he just said the mechanics, he was a little bit off during the game. But I don't know if he's just speaking on that. But I thought that was interesting. The habits, throwing that out there.
Yeah, and Liam's never gonna be one to shy away from being honest. Obviously, Liam Dillon post game as the Jaguars lost to the Seahawks 20-12 yesterday. I feel like he chooses his words carefully. He doesn't mince words.
No, right.
And so he was speaking, I feel like, to his team through the media.
He wanted them to hear that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like your habits, and I think we've talked about this since week 1 with all those penalties, even though you beat the Panthers. Whatever is habit forming in a good way, keep that up. But whatever's habit forming, especially with those different illegal motions, the shifts, the offsides,
lining up wrong.
Right, all of those things, those are habits that you've formed in practice, and those are carrying over to games.
Yeah, and that's why I respect Liam a ton, because he's been from the start, this is how I want things to be, and he's never started to shy away from that. And so I think this is that perfect example of the type of coaching he is. And even if you're coming off the win, and that's what some people on the text line are saying the same thing as we are, are, as in the penalties need to get better, Trevor needs to get better, but also there was other things happening, and I think a lot of people understand that. But there's other people that are saying you're coming off beating the Kansas City Chiefs, and so they're like, what does that mean for your team? And I think what it shows that Liam Coen is like, I don't care. There's a lot of things that still need to get better, and I respect that a lot, because it would be easy to be like, we have a winning record, you know, things are we're battling some injuries, some things are going on,
making excuses.
Yeah, and it's not happening, and I love that.
Well, listen, the coaches are always thinking about in the playoffs, because they're emotional wins too. Like, you got to come back from an emotional win.
Yeah.
You win the wild card game, you got to come back that next week, and sometimes it's short. You know, you play on a Sunday, then you got to play on a Saturday, and it comes quick. And next thing you know, there's no time to be emotional. You just gotta. So that's what they're thinking. But here's the thing, I like what he said about we're going away together. Like, what a great time to really, if they do it, I think they will really look in the mirror. Because even though they're 4-2, I mean, look, it's fantastic, but they have not played anywhere near their best football.
No.
I mean, think about that.
Which
They're
is a beautiful
nowhere
thing,
near.
honestly.
Glass half full,
Right,
absolutely.
they can find it,
And we're all
if
glad.
they can.
If they can find it, right. But that is, something to really build upon. But the only way it works is if they really are honest with each other. And that means, like, I used to have this old coach. I told this to Grammage a long time ago. My coach, Steve Zabel, he'd always be like, don't brother-in-law each other. Brother-in-law means, hey, man, it's okay. Don't worry about it. We'll get them next time. Don't do that to one another, because then that habit will form, and then you'll all be doing it, and nobody will really care. Hold each other accountable. You know, if you're out of place, if you're out of position, if you missed the cover, whatever, like, be like, yo, let's fix it and let's get it done. Don't sweep it under the rug. You know, don't open the trap. He used to always say this. There's no trap door where you can just jump through and come out somewhere brand spanking new, fresh, and nobody knows you did anything wrong.
Yeah.
You know, but you got to make sure you can be really, really truthful with yourself. And I think they will be. From Baselli, Gladstone, Liam, the way he's running things, I think they're really going to look in the mirror. And look, this is more wishful thinking than anything, but maybe it's the right time to come together.
Yeah.
You know, to realize, like, look, man, look how we've been winning, and look how we've been losing, and we're still not playing our best football. So we got something to work towards. I think that could be very powerful.
Yeah, I was disappointed. Like I said earlier, I thought there was a little bit of a lack of energy yesterday, and that surprised me because I didn't think that would ever happen under Liam Coen. I thought he would always have his team fired up, full of that energy.
There was they panned this sideline. Who was Wingard sitting next to? Jordan Lewis, I think. They both looked defeated. I mean, they were just like, they had no emotion on their face. It just looked like they just were defeated. It was wild. It's like in the fourth quarter. I mean, it wasn't like early in the game.
Yeah. But they were always in it. I mean,
but you don't want to see that. Yeah, you're in a one-score game. You don't want to see your players pouting or not looking defeated or whatever the case.
Yeah.
And there's still game left, and you can. I don't even think it's okay for losing by 30. But I feel like if you're in those games where it's like 3 touchdown games, you'll see the players and they're like, I'm trying. There's nothing I can do at this point.
Think about this. Now, it's woulda, coulda, shoulda, and that's not right? Because it happens on the game. But 4 points missed by the kicker, and Travis Hunter is on the line during that freak play that gave you a touchdown. You're tied with that, right? Wouldn't that be 11 points? That'd be 11 points, right? And then you'd be tied. It'd be 23-20. Or if they scored the field goal, it'd be 23-23. Or you'd be ahead.
Yeah.
You'd be back in that game. So that is something you could take.
Seattle
like,
probably scores then at the end rather than kneeling.
Yeah, yeah, right. They would. Yeah, I'm sure they would. Or try to score the touchdown.
Yeah.
But I feel like in all the things that we talk about with the NFL, it's, when you have to travel that far, right, across the United States.
Yeah.
Like,
Seattle's like, okay.
Right. But they are so good. Like,
really good.
I had that stat for y'all last week, and Mike McDonald's now 10-1 away from Lumen Field, which is
crazy.
wild.
Yep.
That's what he's able to do. And look, it does feel like when things are personal, though, for Liam Coen, right? Like when he was facing Kyle Shanahan a couple weeks ago, it felt like to me that was a game he really, really wanted to win.
Oh yeah.
Last week, it felt like Trevor Lawrence really, really wanted to beat Patrick Mahomes. He was able to do that. Again, it's not head to head, but y'all know what I mean.
Yeah.
Well, this upcoming Sunday morning,
big.
East Coast time,
Rams, yeah.
This is a big one for both Liam Coen, for James Gladstone as well, because of obviously, all those Rams connections.
Yeah, they want to prove Les Snead and McKay wrong, right? They want to be like, hey, we're better than them. Okay, we came from them. We're all friends. Everybody's happy. We're going to go out to dinner.
Sean McVay is a badass play caller.
I was about to say, Sean
they're great.
McVay's probably
They're great.
thinking the same thing. Like,
Absolutely.
I could get little brother right now. Like,
Yeah.
for sure.
Which
I was the little brother, so I'd take that chance, any chance I get. But
I will say, I think for the first time this season, I was a little disappointed with the play calling yesterday. There were a few gorgeous play calls, don't get me wrong.
I agree.
But I was
agree.
surprised that the game didn't have a better flow for the Jaguars offensively, and I felt like Liam could have done some things to both help his offensive line, to help Trevor get the ball out faster.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's what they're discussing, obviously, today. As they
Yeah,
pack
and
their
there were
bags.
a couple of those plays, there were some missed blocks. You know, like that swing pass, Little misses his block, that had a chance. I don't like the back against the wall, the bubble screen, that's too risky for me. That's never going to work. You know, they were on their own 17 or 15. They did one to Travis. I know he can. Here's another thing. Where was Travis like last week? Where was these plays? Like, you've seen them work. Right. Why wouldn't you
He's
design
breaking
them?
guys' ankles every time he touches the ball.
Right. But even Brian Thomas on the quick out, the 10-yard out, where was that yesterday? That's like bread and butter.
Correct.
That should be your bread and butter. And then you throw Travis in the slot, let him do a little, option route or whatever. That's another bread and butter. Like, let's go to these type plays. And by the way, you dink and dunk them like that. Next thing you know, you run a double move and chewing. They're down the field, and you got a chance to go deep on them. So I don't know why we got away from that. Sometimes I think coordinators, I don't mean just ours, I don't mean Liam in general, but I think sometimes they get a little cute for their own good. You know what I mean? They're trying to be a little too creative when just go back to the stuff that really works, that you can really hone in on.
Yeah, and I've said it a couple times this year. I also feel like I wish they leaned more into the run than they have in certain situations. Like this is multiple times now where you've thrown the ball 40 times when the pass isn't working, and then you're only running the ball 19 times. I don't personally like that. I'd like to see your strength right now is running the ball, and I'd like to see you not really. I don't want to say they completely abandoned it, but it wasn't that. But definitely shied away at points during the
and
game.
our strength of our old line is running blocking, for sure. For sure.
I think they tried to run it some yesterday, and it felt to me like they were not getting anywhere.
You just got to keep going because you can't pass the ball either. Like that wasn't working either. So why not lean on your strength?
Yeah, you could try maybe a little bit more, but both teams were shutting down. I mean, they were doing a good job shutting down.
Yeah, the
run.
defenses did a great job.
The big difference was Darnold had time, and our guy had no time. So that was a big difference.
All right, more to do on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on a Big Chief Tire Monday. If you have any vehicle needs, find them online at WeKeepJacksRollin.com. They've been in business for over 60 years because they do such a great job, and now they have 6 locations around Jacksonville, including their newest one in Mandarin. It's 1010X on 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels.
From the Green Law Group Studios.
Hello, you're on the air. There's more to 1010XL than radio. 1010XL is multimedia.
All communication lines are clear.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Find 1010XL on your social channels.
Frank Frangie here for South State Bank. At South State, they believe strong relationships build strong businesses. That's why they take the time to understand your goals, challenges, and vision, so they can provide solutions tailored to your needs, like they've done for me for years. South State has always been there for our business and our charity. With a team you can trust and a commitment to personalized service, South State Bank is here to be more than your bank. They're your partner in business. Visit southstatebank.com. South State Bank, member FDIC.
Lauren Brooks here. I saw my friends at Hello Smooth Med Spa in St. John's again last week. I just love going in their beautiful facility. Laser hair removal and skincare treatments have to be customized, and the professionals at Hello Smooth take time with every person to be able to give them the exact results that they want. With over 10 years in the community, 400 5-star reviews, and the latest technology, their team makes smooth, stubble-free skin oh so easy. Packages include 9 sessions, and you will see results fast. Right now, enjoy 50% off laser hair removal packages. Be sure to let them know Lauren from 1010XL sent you. Visit hellosmooth.com or stop by for your free consultation. Your skin will thank you.
Helmets and Heels.
It's a Big Chief Tire Monday. The local Jacksonville shop for fair prices and service you can trust.
When the unexpected happens, you shouldn't have to face it alone. I'm Chris Campione, and at Campione Law, we're here to fight for you. Whether it's an auto accident or a slip and fall, our Jacksonville team takes care of every detail, from investigating the incident to securing multi-million-dollar verdicts, so you can focus on getting better. And remember, you don't pay a dime unless we win your case. Our commitment is 24/7, bringing you the real support from real people who really care. Campione Law, your dedicated partners in justice. Visit CampioneLaw.com.
Count on Campione, Campione Law.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminex. When mice and rats show up in your home or business, they can be a real pain. You need them out fast, before they have time to multiply. Terminex knows how to shut down rodents and will keep them from coming back to wreak more havoc. When rodents show up, so does Terminex. Don't live with a rodent problem. Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online just like I did. That's TERMINIX.com. TERMINIX.com.
San Jose Collision is hiring for an automotive detailer and porter. If you're detail-oriented, dependable, and love working with cars, apply in person at San Jose Collision in Mandarin. Valid driver's license required.
Pick it here for Oceanside Cleaners, the very best in dry cleaning service. Free pickup and delivery, or use their self-service kiosk in Ponte Vedra and Southside for drop-off and pickup. Dry cleaning, laundry, bedding, and bridal gown preservation. If it's got fabric, they can clean it. Oceanside Cleaners.
Bueller, stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal, you look troubled. Is something bugging you?
This friendship isn't all upside for me, Jason. People keep asking me stuff about you.
They ask you about me?
Is it really cooler with Bueller, they ask. So I say, totally. And they say, how do you mean that? And I say, he fixes air conditioners, which literally makes somebody cool. But he also has cool sunglasses and cool people and a cool family.
And I try to make working at Bueller Air and Plumbing a really cool experience for our technicians and plumbers. We treat our people like gold, and they treat our homeowners the exact same way.
Great. Well, now there's another cool thing I've got to remember. This is a lot of responsibility, Jason.
Life can get hectic sometimes. If you don't take a moment to slow down and appreciate all the cool parts, you could miss it.
Do people ask you about me at all?
Weirdly, they do.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Football season is finally here, and with that, hopefully comes cooler weather. And if you've been wanting to upgrade your outdoor living space and just haven't pulled the trigger, you should call the experts at Lifetime Enclosures right now. From glass lanais to screened-in enclosures, Lifetime Enclosures and Flooring is the best in the business. Give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Tell them Prosser sent you.
Get ready, poker players. The World Poker Tour is coming back to Best Bet Jacksonville from October 30th through November 18th. It's your chance to become a World Poker Tour champion with 14 different poker tournaments to play, including the Best Bet Scramble, a $5,000 no-limit hold'em main event with a $1 million guarantee. Satellites and mega satellites are going on now at Best Bet Jacksonville. For the full WPT schedule and more information, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
We obviously coming off of this week is a different vibe than we were coming off from last week, but I do think that, Lauren, to your point, which we've said this a few times, if they really do capture and reel in some of the errors that we've seen when it comes to penalties, when it comes to drops, when some of those things that just feel like a lot of miscommunication is what it kind of feels like in that. It does feel like if you can reel those things in and get control of that, then this offense can be really fun to watch. We've talked about the play calling, and maybe it wasn't the best this weekend, but there were still some moments. We talked about that bubble, the BTJ touchdown. That was the play call that we all liked. And there was a few where I was like, okay, it's there. You just have to reel in some of these mistakes. And I really do feel like if they do, it can be a really fun offense to watch because you have the weapons. You have guys like Travis Hunter. We want to see more of him right now because we talk about he's making guys fall over all over. Even when he's not even balanced, he's falling over and he's making other guys fall over, which is really fun to watch. But you definitely want to see some of these guys make bigger plays. It feels like BTJ, that is starting to come together a little bit more than it was in the first few weeks. It felt like, between drops and him and Trevor felt like they were not on the same page at all. We're seeing that a little bit more. So those things continue to develop, and I feel like it could be a fun offense to watch.
Yeah, that one drop, Brian, he's just got to make that catch.
Yeah.
That wasn't so devastating, but you needed that one. You were still deep in your territory. The other one was where he slipped. It was an incomplete pass.
Really on the route.
And Leonard Williams whooped Little on that one and crushed Trevor right as he threw it, too.
Mm-hmm.
So I know he couldn't get all in on him. But
yeah, the thing that
other than that, it was pretty
sticks in my head yesterday is Lawrence sacked by Lawrence. Yeah. Lawrence sacked by Lawrence.
Yeah.
Because of DeMarcus.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like watching this team in training camp, you knew that they were going to have to iron out several things when it came to the offense. They seem to be pretty good at running the football, but yeah, the passing attack just still isn't where you wanted it to be. I thought, or I hoped, I should say, that they would have that stuff, the kinks worked out by week 3 or 4. Like, yeah, it may take a couple games into it, but by now that it would be certainly a much smoother operation. And that's what has surprised me. I know it's Liam Cohen's first time as a head coach in the NFL, but I think he's a really good offensive mind. And so however maybe he's coached it, Grant Udinski, the offensive coordinator's coached it, they haven't gotten their thought process across to these guys as far as how they want it to go operationally, because otherwise you wouldn't still be seeing this. Like, I don't see other NFL offenses on teams that have winning records with all of these catastrophes that happen.
Right. Self-inflicted wounds, which is true. I mean, I heard Liam's post, game comment about we're hurting ourselves, and it is true. I wish you would have added that, we got out physical. They got out muscled. Yeah, they did. And that was surprising because I didn't think our team, I thought we were past that. But you could learn from it. You got to come up fired up and ready to go. And it didn't feel like they matched their intensity. And again, I'll give Mike McDonald a lot of credit for having his team ready and physical, and you saw it early. Like their O-line were pushing a little extra early. They were taking you to the ground. There were way too many pancakes. I would not want to.
The Jags had been doing. That's the frustrating part.
No, I know.
By the way, for people who don't remember, Mike McDonald used to be the Ravens defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
You go through a Ravens system, that franchise, you're going to come out tough and physical.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought Clint Kubiak called a good game.
Until this year, they're not very fit.
Their OC, they kept us off balance a little bit. But at the end of the day, that was a game we had every chance to win. We just couldn't get it done. And I agree with you, Taylor. But we've been saying this now for a few weeks. Yeah. If the offense could click just a little bit more, we'd be that much better off at scoring
But also
points.
Feel free to get to the quarterback. I understand, yes, Trevor was pressured a lot, and there are always going to be people that say it was Trevor's fault, and then there's going to be people that say it wasn't Trevor's fault, and there's most of us that are somewhere in the middle. But, by the way, defensive front, feel free to harass Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold had not played well in that building at Everbank Stadium the last 2 times he'd been here. Why? Because of the pressure getting to him. And when you don't have pressure, you're asking your corners and your safeties, obviously, to do a lot more. And that's what, to me, it was the other part of it, is they just didn't have nearly enough of not just sacks, but pressures in general.
Well, think about it. Trayvon being out, and he was not effective yesterday.
Yeah.
Did you hear Josh Hines-Allen's name yesterday much?
Not
much.
Which really was disappointing because we talked about how positive it was to have his son walk out on the field, being honorary captain before the game. Watching the two of them on the sidelines, they have their own little handshake. It was so precious.
But again, that Seattle line did a good job.
Excellent
Darnold was kept clean for the most part. Yeah. And again, it was just those 5 plays that were daggers, but that's all you need
for sure
to win a game in any level,
especially
but in the NFL.
Yeah, the other offense isn't firing on all
cylinders. That's all you need. So. Hopefully we can look again. The mental errors have got to be decreased, and it's on offense and it's on I don't like to. I agree with Schlereth, who was saying the ticky-tack call on Anton being too far back. He's like, and then I started watching. And they were inconsistent because there was one time I thought he was really back and they didn't call it. And then the next play, he was kind of similar. Then they called it. You're like, okay, well, what is it? But at the same time, that's that attention to detail. Like, come on, man, if you're too far back. Yeah. All you got to do is move that back foot up a little bit. Just move up a tiny bit. You don't have to. You have time to look. Mm-hmm. It's like Travis Hunter. I know you're a rookie, but you've been playing football for a long time. You're the guy in the line of scrimmage. Look down the line, and am I good? Don't just take this guy's word for it or whoever you were pointing at. Look down the line and be like, oh, I should probably back up a minute. You know what I mean? You have time to do that. So those little things have got to be nipped in the bud. And if they can nip those, that'll help. Yeah. The holdings, on occasion you're going to hold.
They're going to happen. Yeah. There's holding on every play. It just doesn't always get called.
It's more the pre-snap penties that are setting you back. And they're also just disrupting the flow and the rhythm.
It is. When you're constantly having to stop and go backwards. Like the one play, it was early in the game. When next thing you know, you're on like the 5-yard line. You've gone 20 yards backwards from where you originally had the ball. Those can't keep happening because teams like Seattle, the Rams, they're going to take advantage of those mistakes big time, and Seattle did. And real quick, Lauren, because for the pressures you were talking about, or we were talking about Josh Hines Allen via Daniel Griffiths. So Eric Armstead had 3 pressures in this game. Trayvon Walker had 2. Devon Hamilton had 2. Mason Smith, Ventrell Miller, Wingard had 1. Aluakin Agba 1. Josh Hines Allen 0.
Yeah, like I said, you didn't hear his name very much. So, look, he's got to look in the mirror, too. We're counting on him to be a total savage every single Sunday. And he has been. He's played really, played for, the sack numbers aren't there, but he's been pretty, aggressive, wreaking havoc. But you didn't hear his name much yesterday, that's for sure. And we need that to happen. But, again, you heard Armstead on occasion. But not enough, And again,
you want to hear all these guys more. Agba, feel free to help out a little bit.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. You look at the stats, and they did really well. 1 at 12 on third down.
Yeah.
The defense is sick. 2.3 yards a carry. That's pretty good.
But those 2 bombs that they complete,
that's those
and
explosiveness.
that you don't have to get to third down at that point in time.
But those are mental errors.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're the same ones that happened before. So we got to make sure that we clean that up. We clean all that up, but we got to do it. We can't sit here every week.
Every week.
They clean it up.
If they did this 7 things, then they'll be really good.
But if they can, this, hopefully it's a good learning lesson. And I like what Liam's saying. Man, we're going to go. You're going to go away, just us, and we're going to go figure this thing out. So maybe it could be a good thing.
And it's an attitude thing, too. The Jaguars come off of a massive win at home Monday Night Football over the Kansas City Chiefs. The Bucs defeated the Seahawks in Seattle. It was a very close loss. Sam Darnold, like we talked about, threw that interception late. So the attitude, too, right? The Seahawks were burned, and they were pissed off, and they played like it, and the Jaguars were the opposite. All right, one segment to go here on Helmets and Heels on a Big Chief Tire Monday on 1010X on 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels.
Backed by Green Law Group.
For the insured.
Fighting for you.
When you're a little kid on the playground, they tell you don't hit back. Well, the courtroom isn't a playground. And if you've suffered an injury or death in your family, I'm here to tell you it's okay to hit back and fight to make them pay. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we understand all the pain and emotion that comes with being wrong. And we've dedicated our lives to making things right for people like you. So if you get hit back with Hastings Injury Law. Offices, Jacksonville.
Hey guys, Taylor Dahl here of Helmets and Heels. Chick-fil-A has something brand new on the menu, and it's only here for a limited time. Introducing the Pretzel Cheddar Club. This sandwich comes on a warm, buttery pretzel bun, a slice of cheddar cheese topped with 3 strips of Applewood smoked bacon, fresh lettuce, and tomato. And the kicker, a creamy Dijon mustard sauce on the side that takes this sandwich to the next level. Try it grilled, spicy, or with the original Chick-fil-A chicken. Don't wait. It's only here for a short time, so stop by your Jacksonville Chick-fil-A locations and try the Pretzel Cheddar Club today.
It's a Big Chief Tire Monday on Helmets and Heels.
This is Nye Lawrence Stample, national champion and owner of NLS Cleaning. We're your exterior cleaning experts for pressure washing, gutters, windows, and paper sealing. This event season, get your home or business ready to go before guests arrive. NLS Cleaning, 708-8802.
Jax is more than a city, beaches, suburbs, or a destination. We're a community that takes care of each other. I'm former Jaguar Tom McManus. J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling is dedicated to serving you with respect and integrity. We haul construction debris or property cleanouts for managers, owners, and realtors. We do it all. Call 506-1256 for your free estimate today. We're here for you. We're veteran-owned and operated. J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling.
When you need plumbing, septic, or air conditioning service, trust matters. That's why more homeowners in Jacksonville choose Duck Duck Rooter. From small plumbing repairs to major renovations, we do it all. Visit DuckDuckRooter.com. Duck Duck Rooter. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
Living on Amelia Island? Having fun in Fernandina Beach? No matter what brings you to the fun, cozy town, make sure you check out the tap room at Mocama Beer Company. With a full flight of craft creations, from the Cosmico IPA to the Motor, the perfect Pilsners and Lagers, matching memories and some Mocama magic is what it's all about. Mocama Beer Company in Fernandina Beach, near the big water where the sun is born. And look for more Mocama craft at your local Total Wine or ABC Liquors.
David Lane here, and once again, I'm happy to share news of my successful back and knee surgeries at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. Whatever it is that's bothering you, take it from me. Simply set an appointment today at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist and let them help you get back to normal life. I'm certainly glad I did.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
It's the fall savings event going on now at Renewal by Anderson. Upgrading your home has never been easier. Get 20% off replacement windows and patio doors. Plus, no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. This offer expires October 31st. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
This is Jeff Middlecoff with Cogent Bank. My associate Ryan Salem and I joined Cogent Bank because we wanted to revolutionize the mortgage business, just like Cogent Bank has revolutionized the banking business. So Ryan Salem and I are able to leverage the power and stability of Cogent Bank to go out and find our clients the best investors, the best products, and the best rates in the entire country for your particular mortgage loan. Of course, you don't have to be a customer at Cogent Bank to take advantage of our mortgage services to buy or refinance your home. We offer jumbo loans, VA, FHA, conventional, and investment loans. At Cogent Bank, we offer mortgages nationwide, so we can help you with a second home or help a family member who lives or is moving to another state. Call Ryan Salem or myself, Jeff Middlecoff, at Cogent Bank today, 904-442-9191, to see how we can help you with any of your mortgage loan needs, whatever or wherever they may be.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, Cogent Bank, NMLS ID 402296, Ryan Salem, NMLS ID 1182429, Jeff Middlecoff, NMLS ID 249086.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
All right, time now for today's Pest of the Day. Well, if you were watching the end of the Lions and Chiefs game, by the way, the Chiefs bounced back and beat the Lions last night. After the game, you saw a little scuffle happen. Brian Branch hit the helmet of one Juju Smith-Schuster and ended up with a bloody nose. Smith-Schuster did. Then there was, like I said, a little scuffle after that, and Branch had to apologize today. Obviously very remorseful. Yeah, he's just saying that because he's trying not to get suspended. His quote as to why he did it: "I did a real childish thing. I'm tired of people doing stuff in between plays and the refs don't catch it. They be trying to bully me out there. I shouldn't have done it, but I was childish. But I did get blocked in the back illegally, and it was in front of the ref, and they didn't do anything." I can understand being upset about that, but you still can't do that after the game. So that's why he's the Pest of the Day. Is always brought to you by our friends at Terminix. You can find them online at Terminix.com. That's TERMINIX.com. If you have any sort of pest issues, they are the best in the business, and that's why they take care of Everbank Stadium, VyStar Ballpark, VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena, and all of your favorite event venues around town. But yeah, Brian Branch, you can't do that. Bud.
Unbelievable.
And then he throws up the middle fingers too.
Yeah.
It's like he just went all in on it. But there's the one picture that if you go on social media, you'll see it, and it's like Juju on the ground, like eye closed, and Brian Branch is over him. Must have been like right after the hit, but it made me laugh because someone posted that, and it was like they were kind of bringing it as if it was a show, and it was like, "Hey, my name's Juju Schuster. Smith-Schuster. I bet you're wondering how I got here." And he's like on the ground, like eyes closed, getting punched in the head.
When he smacked him, like then Juju went after him, and they tried to break it up, but Branch grabbed him by his mask and still threw him down, and still got a punch it. I was like, that was pretty impressive with everybody around.
And it's all Chiefs, by the way. It was like all Chiefs, and then just Brian Branch on his own.
Hey, you know what? When you play for Dan Campbell, we didn't love it, obviously. Sometimes you're a little bit aggressive. All right, let's say hey to Hayes.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Well, Hayes, to recap the weekend, Florida lost, the Jaguars lost, and a head coach was fired, not named Billy Napier.
Yeah, it was a wild weekend for sure. Started, at noon Saturday.
That's also
when
true.
the Pitt Panthers went into Doak Campbell and got a win with a true freshman quarterback. Almost 500 yards of offense for Pitt. So, wow, lots of sad times for the locals. Yes, Florida State loses. Florida, obviously just it's
no
just
surprise there.
It's just so bad. I mean, it's just so bad where the Gators are right now, and they have talent. I don't think it's necessarily a long rebuild if they can retain some players, but But boy, he is just such a terrible coach. And
It feels like one of the more talented rosters that a new head coach would be walking into.
I agree. And you have the money to pay these guys to stay. So, and they now have to meet with the new head coach. The new head coach has 5 days to, convince them to stay.
Get out the pocketbook.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so I mean, that'll obviously be something we'll talk about today coming up on the Frangie Show. But obviously, the Jaguars losing to the Seahawks will, top everything off. Just manhandling. I mean, it just if you put a varsity versus JV lines of scrimmage out there, that's what it looks like. The Jaguar offensive line just got tossed around for 60 minutes. Just very unfortunate. But anyway, it's still 4-2. Still the 5 seed in the AFC. If the season ended today, so they're in great shape. Got to go get right in London, and hopefully they'll have Hainsey back. But all that coming up on the Frangie Show. Frank will talk to Bucky Brooks at 5:15 to break down the loss yesterday. But yeah, should be a fun Frangie Show coming up.
Sort of fun.
Sort of fun.
Frank is here until later in the week, so he did not go with the team today.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just saw him.
He's like, I think.
So, yeah, I'm
what a hologram.
pretty
of
sure
Frank.
he's here. But
Hayes rant today. That's it.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks, Hayes. Yeah, I saw the truck pull in too, so I know he's here. But yes, the team is heading to London shortly.
Do you think that Knowles fans are hurting more at this point because of the way you get the glimmer of hope against Alabama and then the letdown and then obviously the different situation between Norvell and Napier? And by the way, losing to Pitt compared to Texas A&M is a different feeling, I'm sure.
It is different. I still think all of Florida's hope was lost in the month of September, and Florida State still had hope in September. But yeah, the difference in coaches is definitely.
I think Pitt's an okay team, though. I don't think they're a terrible team. I mean, they're not a juggernaut by any means.
Do they make your cut? For the
yeah, they would. Yeah, I'd keep them. I like their unis.
I do
their
too,
unis
actually.
are badass. I've
So
always
that's
liked
going to
their
factor
uniforms.
into trimming the fat, the uniform.
Maybe, I don't
Strength
know.
of uniform,
Yeah, right.
strength of schedule.
That's right.
I love it. But yeah, a lot of sadness throughout. And then Miami has a game this upcoming Friday night. Had the bye against Louisville.
Oh, yes.
So I think Miami will be fine at home, but certainly Louisville is going to try and
Never know.
hand Miami its first loss.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll talk more college football as the week goes along. But that'll do it for us today. For Taylor Dahl, for Tom McManus, for RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks. These heels are made for talking. We will talk to you tomorrow. But don't go anywhere. The Frangie